All right.
All right.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Auntie. You don't have to look at the screen.
It's okay.
Yeah, we can look at each other over here.
Oh,
We just
okay,
gonna be
forgot.
talking to each other.
Yeah.
My mouth. Sorry.
All right.
Okay.
It's been a week.
It has been a week. A
Yeah,
lot going on this week.
a whole lot.
Mhm.
We did miss a couple days at the gym.
We did.
I don't feel bad about it though, because I needed
don't
that
either.
sleep.
I did too. And it's funny because one day I thought you meant that you didn't want to go. Then the next day you thought I meant that I didn't want to go. But that's why we can't text while we sleepy.
So this week we're gonna be on it
Every day.
every day. We can't miss a day.
Yeah.
Renauda be helping me get up in the morning to get to the gym at 5. We help each other.
We do. The first one up is like morning.
Good morning.
And it's like, okay.
You up? Yep.
Okay. All right. See you in a minute. It takes both of us.
Wow.
Start our day off at the gym. It's like it gives you some energy throughout the
does.
day.
What's the first thing you do?
Yeah.
What is the first thing you do?
We get on the treadmill first. We do a little
warm
A
cardio.
cardio.
walk.
Mhm.
Yeah. Do that stretching, heat them up kind of thing.
Yeah, and then we get to moving.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So last week we introduced ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And this week, we're going to have our first guest. We have my auntie, Omiseun. I just call her auntie. My auntie got a lot of names.
We all call her auntie.
So everybody just calls her auntie. But Omiseun, Chief Yaya is one of them. Omiseun Lomax, that's another one. Auntie is easy. Everybody say, what's her name? That's my auntie. You can call her auntie.
Yes.
Hey, auntie.
Hi, auntie. Welcome to our podcast. Thank you for willing to be our first guest.
Question. Either one of you have nicknames?
I have a few. I have a list of them. I have a bunch of family nicknames, but like in this world, I'm going by Renauda on the podcast. I'm doing my real name thing, but like out in the arts world, I'm La Libra or La Libra the artist.
Who the who?
La Libra or La Libra the artist.
La Libra.
Libra.
Oh, La Libra.
Mm-hmm.
Or
La Libra the artist.
La Libra the artist. Okay. I'm Omiseun Omilade.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm C period O period O period L period cool.
Okay.
Carol Omiseun Omilade Lomax.
Okay.
Cool. That's my art name.
Okay.
So when you see something down and look at it, you see cool. Yeah, I'm cool. And I'm cool, and I love drawing, and I discovered something. Oh, artists are something else.
Yeah.
They are something else. I have to include me. I don't know what all else I am, but inspiring. Artists are inspired for each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was inspired by my brother who just encouraged me to keep doing what I was doing. It's like, I can really draw. Oh, I could draw. When he came and told me that he didn't need to teach me nothing else, I was like, it kind of made my heart flutter. I'm like, that means, okay, well, what is there for me to just keep doing what you do? I kept doing what I do, and then I discovered my niece, Art.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, I still have to look at her. It's like the art she does, it make me feel like mine is kindergarten.
Oh, all artists have a lane though, so I wouldn't say that.
Well, the reason I say that is because, and your life experiences also bring about what you, because the art that she does, her colors are so vivid. So they're like my colors. When I do my colors, my drawing and stuff, to me, at the time I'm doing it, they just stand out and stuff. But you got, just like you say, each artist has their own thing. I was practically blind coming up. So what I see is what I realize now is that I see and that I look at compared to somebody else looking at it, like this color green and the different yellows and what have you. When I look at them, to me, how bright they look. Somebody else may look at them and it might not seem so bright because that's how they see with their eye.
Mm-hmm.
So for me to realize and really see the difference in the clarity of my eyeball, my first physical operation. It's such a difference. Is the only difference is the light or the brightness with which it shows in my head, in my eye.
Mm-hmm.
That's fun. When you start realizing that, it's like, for me,
everybody sees it differently.
It sees it differently.
Mm-hmm.
They all right. I had eye surgery. They took out the cataracts and they put in lens, and then they told me, we set your eyes where you will now see 20/20 in one eye, and in the other eye you'll see farsighted. I've never been able to see, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now you'll be able to see something far away. And I said, well, so I started looking at things. Well, I couldn't help but see things. I was just like this for a couple of years because colors, textures, people's.
Now you can see all these things that you couldn't see
I never
before.
saw that before.
Mm-hmm.
How old were you when you had the surgery?
It's 2008. 12, 13, 14, 15,
16 years ago.
16 years ago. Okay, so I'm 81, 71, and whatever minus.
65.
Something like that.
Okay.
Oh, no, I was older than 60. I'm 81 now.
Mm-hmm.
So 16 from 81 is...
65, 66.
Mm-hmm. Is that all I was?
Mm-hmm.
See,
wasn't that long ago.
Right. And now it don't seem like it. And then I'm just coming across all these papers that I'm finding, right? The doctor's name, Dr. Leff.
Dr. Leff?
Leff, like left.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Except for one with 2 F's. He just, must have took him all of 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Right. To make such a big difference in your life.
The first thing I did when he took the bandages off and I could see, first thing I did was cry.
Yeah.
For a couple of months, I still cry sometimes when I see that I could see. And then sometimes it makes me sad because when I say things like, I didn't know this myself. But now I know. I've been legally blind most of my life.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And then these flashbacks come to me about things that have happened and I've seen, and I realized that I was blind, legally blind when this was going on. You walk up the street and see somebody walking and see this blind man with his dog that I used to see all the time getting off the bus and to realize at that point that I was blind. How did I know I was blind? I mean, now it's because when I was watching that man and something distracted me and I turned to look to see whatever it was. And that's when I realized that I was seeing that man with these eyes was closed. My eyes was closed. And yet I saw that man get off that bus with that dog. He did every day. How is that possible?
Were you just listening?
I was just doing my thing. I went and visited your dad. Had left there. Was going up Killingsworth, just walking. Saw the bus pull over there, and I'm down the block now. But I see the same bus. He gets off the bus and he goes over there to crosses the street. It was God's grace that I saw. Because I wasn't seeing it otherwise. And this emotion and these tears that's coming right now, it's beyond amazing when you realize something like that. And it's like, what? What just happened? What's going on? And then I started looking around and stuff. And then I see the haze. I see the haze that I could see that bus or what have you, and it's not clarity. What I was seeing was what my eyes were seeing. Okay. I want to get off that emotion. All
right.
Okay. So
let's talk about, what are we going to talk about today?
Let's you want to talk about your childhood a little bit? Where did you grow up? Or are you from Portland?
Yeah, let's tell everybody who you are, where you're from.
Yeah.
Oh, who was it? Me?
Yeah.
You.
What?
You the guest.
Oh.
We did this last week.
Oh, I'm a guest. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But of course, darling. No.
Remember, you got to talk into the microphone.
Okay. Oh, nice. I was born in Berkeley, California. I'm always proud to say that because Berkeley is like, I didn't live there, but I was born in the Berkeley Hospital, raised in Oakland, California, San Francisco Bay Area. And is that the question?
Mm-hmm.
Oops. Sorry.
So how did you end up in Portland? Did you grow up in California and then come here, or?
Grew up in California. Okay.
Get your jacket off.
Yeah, get your jacket off and then we'll go back.
Yeah, just pull on the jacket. Oh, okay. And so anyway, thank you, sir. And born and raised there. Oh, in 1977.
Mm-hmm.
Seemed like this is when a lot of stuff all over the world started happening. 1977. That's when I came to Oregon. What got me here? Things changing. There was this little boy that lived down the street from me. He was mad at his little classmate. He got out of school, went home.
Auntie, talking to the mic.
Oh, he got out of school. Okay. Okay. He got out of school and went down the street from my house, knocked at his little friend's door. And when his friend's mom came to the door, he shot his friend's mom.
Oh, wow.
I said, nope. Nope. My babies were still babies. My infant was still infant.
Mm-hmm.
And my oldest one was still an infant. I said, So I loaded up my buggy and I moved. So by the time I got myself loaded up, I had moved over to San Francisco. Now, this is how good God is. I moved over to San Francisco, and how I was able to move to San Francisco so quickly was because this girl on my job overheard me talking to somebody and saying, I need to find me a place. Or da-da-da. She said, "Oh, so-and-so is going out of town for a couple of weeks. She got a place. She's looking for somebody to stay there in her place until she get back." "Oh, really? How long?" "About 2 weeks." I loaded up me and my babies and moved over there. In 2 weeks, I was on my way to Portland, Oregon. Why Portland, Oregon? Because my brother told the whole family, my oldest brother, "Y'all need to come to Oregon." So different from the city. So that's how I got to Oregon. And what's so nice was when I got here, I'm driving. I finally get into town, and I'm driving through downtown Portland, and there's this music playing, and it's a Christian radio station. That's what got me, and I was just like wired, right? And so I'm singing and driving, and as I'm driving and singing, this car coming towards me, the music is blasting out of his car, the same music. And our eyes caught it. We just grinned at each other. I don't know who that was, or he don't know it. But we were so happy to be where we were at that time.
Mm-hmm.
The traffic even came to a stop. I think it probably I don't know, Burnside, Broadway, whatever bridge it was. And it was a wonderful thing when I first got here. Then if you be still, pay attention to what's going on around you. It don't matter how good it looks. You got to pay attention to what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So then I started learning things and learning things and learning things. And then then I left and stuff. Neil Goldsmith, you know that name?
No.
Oh. Do you know that name, Neil?
Who's Neil Goldsmith?
He was our governor.
When?
When you first came to Oregon?
When I left.
Oh, okay.
And when I came back, and this has just been the past, I don't know, I guess the past couple of months, I didn't even know the things that had been going on. I was gone 20 years. It didn't seem like it was that long. And I say, and then I'm listening to the news and they catching you up on stuff. Like, what? Neil Goldsmith. He raped a 14-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know any of that stuff had happened.
Mm-hmm.
And they were talking about, they were making comments like, what a good governor he was, and he this and that and this. But it's too bad his legacy has a raggedy ending, where he had raped this 14-year-old girl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you never know what people be doing, really.
Right.
But that's with anybody.
That's anybody, any state.
Right. Yeah.
They can't say that one. That's right. That's right.
All right.
So I was sad about that. My favorite politician, if I have to choose one, is Ron Dellums.
Where was he from?
Originally, I don't know, but he picked me out of the crowd for remembering me. I knew who he was, but for him to
know who you were or remember you?
Yes. I was like, oh.
Was he here in Oregon, or is that somewhere else?
Here in Oregon. That was that summer, I think. It's when I seen him and that sister that's name. I forget. She's from Oakland or somewhere.
All right.
But
that's okay. We want to hear about you.
Oh, wait, I just got to there talking about me.
Well, you talking about politicians now.
Right. Okay, got that out the way. What's next? Me?
Yeah. So what's coming here to Oregon from Oakland?
Yeah.
What was the biggest difference?
The quiet.
The quiet?
for me, the quiet.
Mm-hmm.
The peace, the quiet. I was able to get a place of my own and not. Well, see, now listen. I'm a black woman.
What?
Yeah, child. Yes. And some of the things that we have been sort of conditioned to go through. I don't know. Being here in Portland gave me a certain kind of freedom from, okay, you ever been in a situation where you said, that'll never happen to me again?
Talking to Mike.
Oh.
Gotta talk
That'll never happen to me
have
again.
to talk to the microphone.
Talk around it.
You got to talk to the mic.
Yeah.
You should act like this is who you're talking to.
Yes.
Let me talk in your ear. Okay. What was I saying? Nothing. Huh?
You were saying something about, as a black woman, you know, the things that we've been conditioned to go through.
Yeah.
I think you're talking about the difference between being a black woman in California, maybe, and then once you moved here.
When you've had an experience in life and you said, no way, Jose, that won't happen to me again.
Mm-hmm.
And you trucking along and all of a sudden you find yourself in that same position again.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I'm tired of this. Well, you know, you got to, if you want this, you got to have that. That's not so. If I want this, if I want it, I have to learn that I want it. I have to learn that it's valuable for me. All right. Okay. So if I don't want that to happen again, what do I need to do? Not that. Recognize when you're doing that, when you don't want to do that kind of thing. Now that sounds they might sound, I don't know what you call it, but what I love now, besides, I had to learn to do this, besides loving myself. Well, how do you love yourself? I love myself. I do this. Do you? What is loving yourself? Ask yourself that question. What is loving yourself? Do you really love yourself? You don't have to ask it out loud. You don't have to ask it out loud. But I had to ask myself out loud. And when I started trying to figure out what loving myself was, I had got advice from 2 doctors, and I really didn't know what they was talking about. One of them told me to tell the other doctor what he said. I was embarrassed. I was ashamed because I never had anybody to help me like that I was aware of. He said, go look in the mirror. Spend time in the mirror. Spend time in the mirror. That was my answer. What do you mean spend time? He said, you go spend time in the mirror. He must have been a psychiatrist or something. Because he was able to get out of me something mean and cruel that had happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
And what he basically was saying was, you need to deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody told you, it stuck with me for many years. You're black and you ugly and God don't like you. Now that was from someone who was younger than me.
Mm-hmm.
He said that to me. The reason they felt free to say that to me because they was always told how cute they was, how this they was. Me, I might get a pat on the head from adults. And I didn't know then, but it made me very conscious as time went on. Maybe they didn't cut my skin, which I've had that done too. Why? Because you went and got the newspaper, and I don't live there, but I want to go get the newspaper for the folks that I'm visiting. He said, I went and got the newspaper. I said, okay, I'll just give it the news. Handed her the newspaper. She said, wait a minute. She steps away, steps inside downstairs in her uncle's house, grabs his hunting knife and cuts my arm.
Who did?
My neighbor. I was 7. He was 12. That kind of experience. You don't even know why. Where'd it come from?
Mm-hmm.
When you experience those kind of things, and you wonder, why? I didn't do anything to her.
Mm-hmm.
I live here. She come. You know what she did after she cut me? She just ran upstairs into her auntie's house and went and got in her auntie's bed.
Mm.
So it's like, really teach you how to keep your hands to yourself. See, this when you get older and men start being mean and stuff, blaming it on you. What? Okay, well, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not even going to have this approach. My attitude, I'm going to change my attitude. It don't matter. It don't matter. You got to change more than your attitude. All right. Okay. It's like, where do you go from there? How do you keep going? You watch other people. You see mean things happening to other people. I don't want that to happen to me. I don't, a chip on my shoulder, you can call it a chip, or don't want to be hurt. That's right. So then that tells me that you have to choose what it is that you're going to deal with.
Are you, just real quick, are you saying due to certain experiences, and it sounds like abuse that you went through, that kind of changed the way that you may have naturally behaved otherwise? Like normally you might want to express yourself a certain way, but you have learned that, or kind of been conditioned to the fact that if you do this thing, it's going to cause harm. So I'm just not going to do that. I'm going to avoid doing all these things. So hopefully I don't have to have these experiences anymore.
I call it the influence. That's what I call it, the influence. And you may not be aware of it, but that influence. Girl, why don't you just do such and such? Girl, why don't you just do that? Girl, you need to do. You do it. Walk in this shoe here.
Mm-hmm.
Walk in this shoe. You do it. You know, it's so many things in life that influence us. It could be television, radio. I remember that I used to be home all the time. I used to want to go out and dance so bad, but I'd take care of my little siblings. So you know what I did? I started dancing with the doorknob.
Okay.
That was my thing. Yeah, I can get down. Oops. And then the time came when Michael and Landis saw me dancing.
Who were there?
Who was who?
Michael and Delandis. You're naming people, but no.
Oh, Michael and Delandis, my babies, my teenage sons. They were down in the basement where they spent a lot of time down there, and they came up and caught me. I say caught me dancing in the kitchen. My favorite dancer of all time. And that's why I got pissed off when they badmouthed him about was Fred Astaire.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Woo! I could dance with him, honey. We'd be all over the house. And so I'm in there dancing, doing one of these things. All I heard was, "Mama, what you doing?" It was Michael.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, caught me. I had just done one of them high kicks. So I'm dancing. And then I got thinking, ain't nothing wrong with that. I didn't have no girlfriends. I didn't have no boyfriends. I didn't have no friends. I was working every day. And on Thursdays, I would get off from work and go down to what they called the Steppenwolf in Berkeley. I go out to that Steppenwolf. There'd be nobody at my job that was there. Nobody I knew. And I'd order me a glass of wine. Thank you. Get the music going. Me and the dance floor and that music. We would be dancing. Didn't nobody bother me. Folks there knew that I would just come in and just do that, get a couple of dances on, then I would leave. So they found, people are so mean. Some folks found out where I was going on Thursdays, and they'd come in and just watch me. This is what I found out. Well, this one time, this guy, he kept wanting me to get with him, right? And I didn't. He came in there one night.
I talked to the microphone.
He came in there one night.
Don't mean talk lower to the microphone. We got back. Oh, Lord.
He came in there that one night and tore my dress off of me.
What?
Why I was whispering.
Oh, no phones.
No, I'll just.
Oh.
So, he came in there. And now, first of all, I had been sitting in there, I had been dancing, had nobody been in there. Then him and his friend come in there. And he spotted me sitting up there on the riser, and I'm sitting at my table, and a couple of my friends had come in there and saw me. And he was just standing there. I didn't really know what was going on. You don't know what's in people's minds. Really? That fella came in there, and he kept threatening. I said, you know what? I'm just going to go. I'm not going to sit around and be. So I went down to the bar, told her to give me my coat and my purse. And as I'm standing there waiting for her to hand it to me, he reaches over there and goes, a new dress too. Lace. Put his hands. I'm glad I had on clean underwear. I bent down, picked up my dress, tucked it in there, got my coat and said, thank you. Left. Well, before I left the table, he said, if you need this other friend at the table said, if you need a ride, I'll give you a ride. Just let me know. I thought, oh, Lord, I don't want this kind of. He said, so I just said, thank you. Headed on. When I walked out the door, he said, come on. Took me in and dropped me off home. The next day, you shouldn't do that to innocent people. Oops. The next morning, they was telling me about this dude. You guys saw what he did to me. He ain't the only one watching me. This is what I realized now. He wasn't the only one watching me and, doing that guy to girl thing that guys do. They whipped his ass.
As they should. That's what I was waiting for. I was about to say, what happened to him? Because
they whipped his ass. Sure did. He didn't bother me no more.
I bet he didn't.
But you don't know those kind of things are going on, and people people be looking and judging and so forth and so on. They probably thought I wasn't doing nothing. I don't even know his name, kind of thing, you know. And it's okay, all right. What's wrong with guys? When they're a certain age, it's like they don't take. I had this one guy, he would not leave me alone. He kept knocking on my door. I had to call the police on him. The police said, well, if he's not threatening you, is he threatening you? Well, no, but he won't let me. He keeps knocking on. He says, if he's not threatening you, nothing we can do. If he's not using threatening words, there's nothing we could do. Okay. Here I come. I'm coming home from work. First of all, he took my keys from me when I was leaving work one day. The keys to the office and the keys to my house.
Who did?
This guy that kept knocking on my door. His name was Richard Pryor. They called him Jose.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he was not the comedian, just to be clear.
Mm-hmm.
But he was out there again. And I stopped at the phone booth because I saw him duck into the alcove of my building.
Mm-hmm.
I was coming down the street. Now, I only worked about 2 blocks away, down and around the corner. I ducked in that phone booth, called the police. They said, well, is he threatening you? I said, well, he told me that I wasn't going to walk on the face of the earth again. Is that a threat?
Mm-hmm.
He said, yeah, we'll be there. You go on and take your time and walk to your house. And I did. And by the time I got up there, they pulled up there. Dang. They asked, are you threatening her? He said, I didn't threaten her. I just told her that she won't be walking on the face of the earth. He's so stupid.
Well, good for you.
Uh-huh.
For you.
Yeah. And I was like, so I said, okay. They took him to jail, but they could only hold him for so long, then they have to release him, and then here he comes. He kept on. They finally put his butt in jail, and the judge told him, you got to promise to leave her alone or we'll put you back in jail. And his attorney said, but he's a school teacher, and what does that have to do with him harassing me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that kind of shit. Why me? I don't know. That's just how blank I was, and so anyway, I share some of my stories sometime, and somebody said to me, well, you I forgot what I was listening to share. But they was trying to tell me how fortunate I was that. Then they followed up with say, "You must hate men." But why would I hate men? Well, all this. I said, but what's that got to do with hating men? I don't hate my sons.
Right.
They're men. They're young men. They're gonna be grown men. Only thing I can do is like what I saw my mother do. My mother was a single mother, all these babies, and nobody helping her. And yet, oldest brother took care of us as though we were his children. He worked by the time he was 8 years old, lost his eye when he was 10. He still kept on working. He'd go find these big drum barrels and fill them with scrap and sell them and make money and bring that money to give it to my mother to feed us. When you see that going on right there, can't nobody tell me nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, true, He got shot.
Your brother?
My oldest brother. He got shot for beating his wife. His stepson shot him dead.
Mm.
I ain't mad at his son. I remember the times that I've had to call my brother because my stepfather threatening to cut my mother while she was pregnant.
Mm.
Threatening to do things to her. That boy didn't do no more to him than he would have done to somebody that was doing that to his mama.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right.
I have never been mad at that boy. I'm right proud of him. My brother raised him from when he was little.
Mm-hmm.
And you get up that big and then he gonna come in there and find you beating on his mama in the bathroom. You think he ain't gonna do nothing? Been with you all this time. He's a protector of his mama.
Mm-hmm.
You are a protector of your mama. And none of them really have wanted to talk to me about that, but I have spread the word. I ain't mad at that boy. He ain't did no less than what my brother would have done.
Mm-hmm.
Protect my mama. And I wish I could write where it's kind of consistent. Maybe I will be able to one day when I get to space. Anyway, yeah.
All your stories, you mean?
Yeah.
Write all the stories. Yeah.
Oh.
Life is crazy like that, right? We all have so many experiences that we can reach back to and remember.
Yes.
Where people think we should feel a certain way, but maybe we don't.
Right.
Yeah, because we think about what's right. It's not about who you are to me or whatever. For me, it always comes down to what's right and wrong. You shouldn't be putting your hands on nobody.
Absolutely.
Do you know that's why I ain't smacked that girl?
What girl?
Oh. Little one. Cries me all the time. Especially when certain folks ain't around. You know which one I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. And it's like, I refuse to go there.
Mm-hmm.
Because I believe the Bible is true. It has proven itself to me. Certain rules in the Bible, you pay attention to it and follow it, stick to it. There's certain things you ain't got to do.
Mm-hmm.
This.
Sometimes things will take care of themselves.
And we've had that conversation before. We had a conversation of whether or not you're the type of person to seek revenge or let karma or God or the universe or however you believe take its course. We both sit on the side of I don't have to get involved. I don't have to intervene.
Yes.
Yes. It'll take care of itself.
Yes. Yes. Which is nice. I think it's a nice idea about these podcasts that other people can hear.
Mm-hmm.
Because they want to think, it's just like, I was just like, I see you.
All right, Auntie. So we were talking about your sons, and we were talking about just life. But one question I have for you is, as a parent, what is one of the biggest lessons that you've learned of how to be a parent, or what is the most valuable way you can show up as a parent?
Well, you got to go inside for one thing. Okay, I'm sorry. You got to go inside for one thing. That baby gonna be inside. It's taking parent stuff.
Mm-hmm.
As mothers, you know that after you have a baby, your hair loses gloss. Mm-hmm. Your skin might get a little dry. They taking, you giving from what's inside. Mm-hmm. Now that might not seem like much of nothing, And it's just your inside. Your insides is you. The inside of your babies is them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's you and them. So, as a parent, I think the most valuable thing that you can do for your child is to accept them the way they are. It don't mean you have to like them. And I throw that in because they say, you respect that elder person. You show respect for that person. But I don't like them. Well, they don't like you either. What they don't like about me? I mean, that's the look they'll get, like, they don't like me. They don't like that you're disrespectful. They don't like the fact that you act ugly or whatever is going on. I can do a lecture. And it's like, when you do the things, when you, as a parent, when you teach your child how to show respect, I ain't got to show you that I like you. What I got to show you is if I stepped on your toe, if I bumped you or something, say, excuse me. Show manners. The very basics. That's what my mother did. She whipped my butt if I needed it, but I don't ever remember trying to find out if she really meant it. I just didn't want my butt whipped. It hurt me too bad. So that being okay, one of the things that I liked that I was able to do, and I look at my mother and I say, thank you, Mommy. I raised them 2 boys by myself. But I didn't beat on them all the time. I gave them their space. I didn't try to work their stuff out for them. I said, you guys better work it out. I'm not going to argue your argument. You better work it out. If I worked it out, I'm going to whip your butt. Which your choice kind of thing, pretty much. And that's just like, now let me see this is how Michael will handle it. This is how DeLandis handle it. I was watching Michael, the other day when he was over here. First of all, I looked at him. He's cleaning himself up.
Mm-hmm.
Just by the way he's wearing his clothes, the cleaning and not having his pants all down behind his knees. You know what I'm saying? I didn't say nothing. But I remember the time he called me on the phone to let me know that he had bought a belt.
Okay.
I was like, whoa.
He letting you know that some of your words are sinking in.
Right, it's starting to grow up.
Yes. Oh, I did cry. Yes, I did. That just made me so happy in my heart because that showed me a part of him that should be there.
Mm-hmm.
And that they listening even when we think they're not listening.
Yeah.
It might take a while.
Right. Right. But it's in there somewhere.
Some years at that.
So let them be themselves.
Let them be themselves. There's this 2 men and a boy, or 2 boys and a man, or some show that used to be on.
Mm-hmm.
And this mother had 2 sons, and they was both white boys.
Mm-hmm. There's 2 men and a baby.
Something like that. Something like that, yeah. And this baby was so much smarter than the 2 of them. They had common sense, it seemed. But being able to, just watching her attitude was like, they be saying, yeah, well, mom this, mom that, blah, 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 blah. Mom come through there and said, it's like, that's what you get. That's what you got. Is that, well, why don't you tell them to do so and so and so and so? Oh. Can't you hear me? So why don't you you should tell them this, tell them that. And she sort of like gives this look like, you tell them. You find out what happened. Try your thing, you know. You can't throw them off to somebody else. You can't throw them off to somebody else. I didn't know this until, I guess, I don't know how old I was, but all of a sudden what I realized was that I liked football.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What did I like about football? Okay, when I first started watching it, it was these.
Talk to the microphone.
When I first started watching it, was these programs that would come on. They'd play about a half an hour or some kind of symphony music, and they'd sync it to the music to the football players.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember when I first started watching that. Ooh, things was happening inside. That fellow back there watching. Honey, them was some fine booties. It was turning me on.
Oh my God.
It turned me on. I had no idea such a thing was in me. And I would watch that show and it would just get, I'd be the only one watching it. But it got to where I was watching on a regular basis.
There's something about these men running around.
That's what first turned me on
athletics.
to football. And now.
So now you know what's going on. It's more than just, they look cute in them spandex pants.
And then it would be, see, what I could tell now is, I'll straight up tell you this. I could look at those men out there on that field, and I could tell what kind of underwear they got on. And how they move certain ways, they wear certain things. Dang, some of them are so fine. Now, this is the part that got me. One day I'm just enjoying myself watching it. And I don't remember where it came from. He said, ain't you too old to be looking at them young men like that? I said, no. They need looking at just like girls need. Oh.
So do you have a favorite team or you just watch?
Oh, I got a couple of favorite teams. I like basketball too.
Mm-hmm.
Hey! Basketball, honey.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, basketball and football.
Mm-hmm.
So who's your favorite team? Football.
My favorite football team would be, well, I think I got two of them now because the one that I like, you switched them to another team and I still like him.
Oh, a specific player?
Yeah.
Okay, so who's your favorite player?
You think of his name?
Okay. Okay, then.
What team was he on?
San Francisco something.
49ers?
49ers. That's what. Well, yeah, San Francisco 49ers and the San Francisco.
And the Raiders?
The Raiders. First job I had working outside the home was at a nursery school next to this field where the Raiders first started their practicing and playing. So I ate Raider dust for a few years. It was just, I just loved the Raiders. And when I said, they gone to where? Nevada?
Yeah.
To where? Across the country? Oh, no, they couldn't be doing that. And they was gone.
Mm-hmm.
I love them Raiders. I don't care where they go. They made it. I watched them from dust you know, and to where they are now, world famous. Shoot, my Raiders. Hey, yes, Raiders.
What's your favorite basketball team?
My San Francisco. What are they called? San Francisco. Sometimes I can just call them right off, but I can't.
It's a California team, so the Warriors or the Lakers or the Clippers. It's not the Clippers.
Golden State Warriors.
They
wear blue and yellow.
Yeah.
Or the Lakers wear yellow
and purple or something.
Okay. Well, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't know that many
Blazer fans anyway.
We're from Portland, so Blazer fans all day.
Right. Do you know? I just learned.
Talk to the mic.
Hey, you know what? I just learned the other day that in 1977 was when the Trailblazers won.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I first came to Portland.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just didn't click to me.
No. Remember that?
Wow. Yeah.
I think about G be at home playing the football games on the PlayStation, and Aunty want to watch football games, so she would come up there thinking she watching a real football game.
She played a game,
and G would be playing the game, and she would be thinking this is an actual game. She was kind of confused, like, what are these things that keep popping up on? You know how you got to pick which play and this and that, and she'd be trying to follow. It's just trying to follow what's going on. And finally, one day, she said to me, "I thought I was watching a real football game. She liked them 49ers, and he's a Niners fan. Right? We always got the Niners on at home. That's not
Cowboys over here.
Oh man!
But I was cracking up. She was like, "I thought I was watching a real football game."
I did.
She realized he was playing a video game. I didn't even know they look so real.
They did, and he would plan it out and everything. Then it got to where it's like, then 3 numbers. 11, 13, and 1.
Mm-hmm.
Those 3 numbers. I said, He'd be doing the practice thing.
Mm-hmm.
I said,
He pick a play and
he pick a play, yeah. So then we go. Sorry. Then we go to play it, and it's like, and them same 3 ones. Do. I finally picked up the pattern. I said, And then when the other guys be playing, and they talk to each other so bad sometimes.
It's the competition of the game.
Yeah. And it'd be like, but see, I don't push no buttons on that thing. I just watch baby girl got a hold of the thing and whip their butt.
Oh, who, Manna? I don't play video games very often, but we played Mortal Kombat. This is a good bragging moment for me because I don't play video games, right? But the kids play. They play with G. And so one day I played little G and I played big G and I won. I was beating everybody.
Are you a button smasher?
I'm not.
Like you just be pressing
no.
whatever?
I know which order I choose to push them in, and I know exactly, but I don't play all the time. So it's not like super calculated, but I'm gonna figure out my button, my combos, and then I'm gonna tear you up with it.
Okay. You get to be like, well, see, this is why I don't have to play all the time because when I come through, I just,
Right. Let me put it down. I put it down on everybody. Then I'm like, okay, I'm done. Y'all ain't about to beat me back.
See, that's how Donald be. Donald be like, I won. I'm done. I stopped. No. We gonna keep going. Just like he tried to quit in the middle of Uno, the one that Uno flip. Him and Renauda were playing, and he was mad because he was sitting there with most of the deck. And he's like, I'm just gonna quit. And I'm like, so you just gonna quit? Because you losing? I said, if she had most of the deck, you'd be sitting over here laughing and
talking all
pointing, and no, we gonna keep on playing. He was hot. But when Renauda won, and she's like, she's horrible. She's just like me. She's like, are you done? Or do you want to play again? And then he's like, I want to play again because he think he about to beat her. She put him in the same position again. And he want to quit. No, you're not going to quit. Y'all going to keep playing. You can't quit in the middle of the game. We're not rage quitting a card game.
You got to finish.
You have to finish
strong.
Life lessons in games. Can't quit in the middle.
Right. That's bad. Bad practice. We're not doing that.
It is.
The kids be ready to quit so much. I tell you, I think about when Anthony, putting the kids in sports when they're little and they're unsure. You got to put them in. And even though they feel like, I'm not having fun, I want to do, you got to finish. You got to finish. Okay, you ain't got to play next time, but you're going to finish this season. We done paid registration. We done bought a uniform. We got all this equipment. You going to finish playing this season. I ain't wasting I don't want to necessarily sit here at your practice every time, but we going to finish this out. And then next time, don't pick it up if you don't want to play.
So we were suiting up for a game, and for some reason, my son got mad at me. So he thought he was going to punish me by not playing because he knows football is my favorite sport. So he thought, well, if I don't play, then somehow that was going to hurt me. It didn't hurt me. It made me mad. Because like you said, I didn't bought all this stuff. I didn't pay these fees. I'm saying I got to buy your sister snacks every time we hear because there's a concession stand. Like all this stuff is going on, and you don't want to put on your uniform. So me and him are sitting there having this conversation. His coach was like, oh, he don't want to suit up? This is the one coach that was his coach that wasn't actually my cousin. He's like, oh, he don't want to suit up? That's okay. And in my head, I'm like, no, it's not okay. It is not okay. We can, and then we could have stayed at home. We was in Beaverton. Now we over here, whatever school it is on 130th off Stark. I'm like, I could have stayed at home. Coach was like, no, I got it. So then he had to do like all the water. Like now you gotta, for your teammates that you could have been out there playing with, you gotta squirt water in everybody's mouth. You gotta lug everybody's equipment around. You gotta move. Like, so now you're not working on the field, but you gonna work. I was like, okay, that's satisfying for me because at the end of the day, you gonna do something. We came out here, you gonna do something. But that whole quitting thing, I don't care if you show up and you gotta do that every day. If that's what it is, I already paid. You are going to be here until the season is over. Y'all go to the playoffs and you're going to be doing that at the playoffs. We are not. He got back on that field the next week.
I know he did.
Yeah, because he ain't going to be squirting water in nobody's mouth too long.
Right. And then your friends get to talk crazy to you because they know you in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Not trouble, but they know you messed up somehow. And who want to go through that? I got to sit here and squirt water in Kennitha's mouth. She get to make fun of me because I got in trouble and I don't get to
go out there and play.
Yeah. But that's what they did. Like, but it was rightfully so. Like, why are you being weird? We're a team, and you letting us down by not wanting to suit up.
Yeah. This weekend, they had a tournament. They had a one-day tournament yesterday. My son's basketball team, and they play 6th grade. They're still a newer team. They've been together for the last year or two, I think, and. They're still learning. They're pretty decent, but at the same time, they're still learning. They're still working on fundamentals and just getting stronger as a team. And there are some games they have where they play really strong. It's like you guys played as a team today. And then some days they start playing, they start falling apart, then they start getting in that individual game where I got to save the team because we're down.
Yeah,
and now we're not passing the ball, and it's all about going straight to the hoop and making horrible passes, and it's like. What the heck? You guys start falling apart, and then they all looking at each other like somebody else's fault. It's like, no, accountability.
That's a team win, team loss.
You guys, accountability. Like y'all all got to step up.
Yeah.
And some of them get hard on themselves, and some get hard on somebody else, and it's like, but watching it, talking to Lil G after the game, it's like, what do you think happened today? He's like, I don't know. He internalizes everything, right? And he gets really hard on himself. And not every player does that. Some players get hard on themselves. Some players get hard on somebody else because it ain't their fault, right? But watching them do that, especially at this age, it's like, you guys got to learn, what is taking place. Like, really reflect on it. When you get done after the game, look at what happened. Look at your part in it, not somebody else's part in it, and say, what did I do, or how did I show up, or how did I not show up today? Right?
And then how can we show up better together?
Right. And also when you have those good games, what did we do? That's one thing his coach does at the end of the game. They all have to say something positive about another player. What did they notice and appreciate in the game? And they also have to reflect on why they feel disappointed after the game or what happened, what was their part in it.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, she'll make them sit down and actually talk about that. And I appreciate that because I think that's something that's missing a lot of times when we go through something, right? We don't accomplish it the way we wanted to. How often do we sit down and reflect on what went wrong?
Yes.
Right.
I think some of us do it individually, but I don't think we necessarily do it collectively in a healthy manner. Because it's easy to be like, well, if you would have blah, 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 then I could have. Or I recognize what was going on with me. This is what I, observed with you, vice versa. Talk about it, figure it out. If it's something you can fix it. If it's not, then the next time you know how to better handle the situation. I don't think people understand, especially people who don't play sports or don't have kids in sports, don't understand how that connects to parenthood, and it connects to like life skills. Because those things, it'll help him be a better communicator in general. Even if he's still trying to figure out how to practice it, he'll have the tools. And he's not just hearing it from his mom or his dad or whatever. Because, sometimes you can tell your kids the same things, but it's like, okay, I'm hearing it from my mom and my dad, though. But
it's irrelevant.
Right.
Whatever.
Because you just saying
they
that.
don't know. They just want to tell me what to do. They don't really care how I feel. They just want to be in control.
That thing of connecting that child with their feelings, their real feelings.
Yes.
And how do you get them to recognize and realize that it's their feelings that they're dealing with? You're not upset because you might be upset because I said woo 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 instead of woo, 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 which is what we've. Do you see where I'm going? It's like we are all still connected. When you do this, this is what happens. That's why I'll say, don't be pushing that button. And when I say that like that, she knows what I mean because I explained it to her some time back. Not that she would accept. I don't care about your button, but I'm letting you know that you really got your finger close to that button, and you keep pushing that button, you're gonna get dementia.
That's what you been telling me.
From me. Yeah, dude.
She gonna get dementia.
You're gonna have me dimension you.
That means dementia for Auntie is when it don't matter. She gonna say what she say. I forgot where I'm at. I forgot who I was talking to.
I took that literally. He's like, oh dang, okay.
she gonna make her have dementia. No, she gonna.
Oh Lord.
She's like, you know what? I'm about to unleash on you.
She's about to blank out. Okay.
Yeah, because and that's
okay.
Because they use that word so much, that dementia, Alzheimer. Do you know I haven't got an answer yet from the doctor or from the nurses? Do I have Alzheimer's? Am I Alzheimered? That's how.
Am I Alzheimer's?
That's how I will ask him. Am I?
I don't know that that's the.
Here's what I learned. Alzheimer comes from dementia. Not dementia comes from Alzheimer's. That's what they keep saying.
I think they're kind of two different things.
Yeah,
they swear, but now they got a new medication for it.
I remember when my mom had, I think she had both.
Yeah, you can have both.
Yeah, she had both, but when she would get confused about where she was, that was the dementia, and then the Alzheimer's. I don't remember. Do you remember my mom's husband, Eddie?
The name.
Gilbert.
I don't think I even got to meet him, but I've heard his name.
Okay, so she married Eddie. I was in elementary school. I was probably like 3rd grade, 4th grade. My mom all of a sudden married this man. We didn't know him before they got married.
Okay.
Like she knew him, right? Like she used to go to bingo. She used to be out. She would leave us at home all the time and she'd be gone. And I guess she was out with Eddie. And so one day she came back and they had got married. Now this is your stepdad. Okay, this older man. He was old enough to be my grandfather. Okay. He was old enough to be her dad. I think he was about the same age as her mother. And he was an older black man who had grown adult kids. And I don't know whatever brought them together. But when she got older, you know, my mom died when she was in her 60s. Towards the end, she started telling me that Eddie was a white man. And I said, "Oh, Mom, what you mean? Eddie was a older black man." Like, no, Eddie was a white man. Like, what? You know, that's when I knew that was more of the Alzheimer's. I was like, "Mom, I wish I had pictures, because I don't have pictures of your husband, but he was not a white man. He was an older black man." And she swore up and down that he was not. And I was like, what happens? How do you go there, you know, in your older age that things just change. The whole story changed.
I know my grandmother had dementia, and it was funny. Nobody was listening to me because I worked I wasn't a nurse or anything, but I worked in like care facilities and, you know, in that area. And I was like, I think my grandmother has dementia. And she would say she would go to the doctor, and the doctor would be like, well, how do you have dementia? And then she'd be like, well, I forgot, you know, X, Y, and Z. And they would tell her things like, well, if you remember that you forgot, then you don't have dementia. And I'm like, I don't think that makes sense, but okay, whatever. But then she would just forget stuff. She would give you stuff, forget that she gave it to you. She would say one thing or ask you to do something and get mad at you because you're doing what she just asked you to do. And I would just kept telling my aunties, like, y'all need to get her checked out. Somebody needs to go to the doctor with her. And then it just progressively got worse. She started with dementia in her like late 40s, early 50s.
Well, I've been doing that since my 20s. I mean,
Well, no, not necessarily. I just think I forget too, but that's because I got a lot going on. You got a lot going on, but you could just tell that it's not just the forgetting, it's the confusion with the forgetting, you know? And then when she got like real off into her dementia, she asked my auntie, where's Peanut at? And that was her first husband. And then we was like, what do you mean, where's Peanut at? Y'all ain't been together, and he in Florida. And she's like, well, who gonna help me take care of this baby? We was like, what baby? Now, mind you, my grandma in her 70s, she's like, this baby. We was like, oh Lord. Ma'am, you are not pregnant. But you know, when somebody's in the middle of dementia, you can't tell them that, because then she's going to, that's her reality. Like in her reality, she's pregnant and Peanut need to come on back because he was in the military. So he would be stationed in different places. So in her mind, he's stationed somewhere. When he coming back to help you with this baby? Between that and we went to go visit her, and she picked up the banana, and she was like, don't you tell nobody about Mr. Oogly Moogly. And I was like, who is Mr. Oogly Moogly? And then I realized the way she was holding it, she thought it was her. She had a Trey 5.7. My grandma was a gun toting grandma. 357. Oh, a gun. And she thought that the banana was her gun, and she didn't want me to tell anybody that she had brought the banana, the gun, into the Mr. Oogly Moogly.
Okay.
Into the room, because the guy next door who also had dementia somehow ended up in her room. And so she was going to protect herself from him. Okay. He did it again. Then they called us talking about, y'all have to come get her. She beat up the guy next door. And he's in her room. So I'm like, if he's in her room and she beat him up in her room,
you're not wrong.
She's not wrong. That's her space. And she was like, he was trying to rape me and this and they were like, no. I said, first of all, y'all can't say what happened. It was just the two of them in there. And at the same time, also, he's in her room. If he gets assaulted, that's on him. So then they had to block off the bathroom, because all these rooms had bathrooms where
double doors.
Yes. So they blocked off the bathrooms or whatever. But they're like, well, they are supposed to keep their bathroom doors locked. You want people with dementia to remember to lock their bathroom doors,
right?
But she would be in and out. She'd be like normal as stuff, as you know, and then be like, I want to get out of here, blah blah blah, and then she would just be gone. She used to think I was my mom bringing my brother and myself to see her, but it was me bringing Donald and Renauda to see her. And it was really weird. It was a weird transition watching somebody go from being one of the strongest, most outspoken people you know to just being more timid and confused all the time. And that's really weird. But I feel like her doctors failed her by telling her things like, well, if you remember that you forgot, then
You don't have dementia.
You don't have dementia.
See, they need to stop that double talk.
But that's how they treat Black people, but especially Black women in general. They ignore everything that goes on with us.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
true.
listened to Therapy for Black Girls, to that podcast, and one of the episodes I just listened to yesterday was talking about the medical industry and how they've always treated people of color and the distrust. And I think about that when it comes to even my dad, right? Like, he didn't want to go to the hospital, right? Because he just didn't trust that these doctors were going to do anything or listen to him, Aunty either, right? And he was surprised. And that's the thing, is that you don't, the history between how they were treated in the past and now, it's like a lot of people just don't trust. That I don't know these doctors. These doctors don't care. You know, you go to the doctor. He was so surprised to go in there, and he's like, well, first of all, Dad, you're in really bad shape. So they ain't got no choice but to really take it serious right now, because for one, you don't go to the hospital. And we get in there in the ER, and when they're in the back there, and they get him set up to go to scans and this and that and this. I mean, immediately, right?
Yes.
And he was just like, wow, I should have came to the doctor a long time ago, right? You know, like, dang, I just didn't think that this is what the doctors would do when I come, because forever, forever, that's not what they did.
That's not what they did. That's right.
It still happens now. It's happened to me several times recently, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you just got to be able to find the right doctor. I think a lot of people don't realize that with your therapist, with your doctor, whatever, if they're not working for you, you can ask for another one. You're not working. You're not listening to me. And also, somebody told me a long time ago, if you're saying, I'm having this abdominal pain and I need a scan or something, they're like, well, we don't think you need that. Document that you don't want to give me a scan in my chart. I need you to put that in there. And I guarantee you they'll give you whatever scan it is you're looking for. Because a lot of times we know our bodies better than anybody outside of our bodies. Now, there might be some people that we see all the time who can be like, hey, you don't look like, you're doing so well or whatever, that can, prompt you to go or whatever. But that doctor doesn't know your body better than you. And they, even with all that schooling and stuff, they're reading results. And that's how they know the things that they know.
Well, even in all that schooling, like back in the day when they used to have this thing where they teach that Black people don't feel pain the same as white people.
Or at all.
Yeah, their sensitivity to pain is a lot. They have a higher tolerance, so they don't need as much pain medication. No, it's the same. It's now you just want to make them suffer. But if people don't understand the history behind a lot of that stuff and where it came from, and that this is truly still being taught now, right? And this
they
is
just did a study not that long ago. Yeah,
like it's really not a thing. So that's why most people look for doctors that look like them. You got to understand my struggle, where I come from.
Yeah,
I want to feel comfortable in this space, right? I was listening, and one of the people on the show, she was a doctor herself. She grew up. Her mother was a doctor. I think her father was a doctor, and she grew up in a neighborhood where her doctors were Black, and her. Everywhere she went, that's what they had. And it's like, we don't have that everywhere. That's not an option.
We don't have that here at all.
Yeah, but it would be nice. And I think that brings me back to that community piece that we've been talking about a lot lately, like really looking at community. Like, I really wish we had a whole community. I'm sure we got people who can do any and everything, right? If we focused our energy and came into a space where we could actually be community, like be in community with each other. To support each other in all those ways, how amazing that would be.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we're so spread out, and there's not a lot of people truly, it seems, not a lot of people truly focused on that piece of community.
Right. Or they are, but in little silos. Or, it doesn't seem like, because we're so spread out now, it doesn't seem like we're here, or we're all not connected in the ways that would be helpful in order to build that. But like I was trying to tell, like D'Angelo, he's not from here, and he keeps asking all these questions. Well, why this, why that, blah, blah, blah. He's better now. But just about how every time we build something, folks come in from the outside, mainly white folks come in from the outside and find a way to break it up. Find a way, and not that they do it just by themselves, because we do have a tendency to mess stuff up for us.
There's a system set in place for that, to make sure that it doesn't go any further.
We're not successful. We build successful, thriving communities all the time. That's why this last time when they came in and disrupted everything, through gentrification, like I explained it to people, we used to be in these little dense pockets of community. It was like they took a bag of marbles over Southeast and just dropped them, and we spread out all over everywhere. So we don't have that same community that we grew up in, that we're used to. We're all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And so that, I think that, and then everybody trying to survive and figure it out, prevents us from coming together like we could.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like if the people who know people in overlapping groups, if they want to be that glue or whatever, or that networking connection, then we could get there. But people are just got to be willing to do so.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
You have to be willing to hear a bunch of smack from folks. You have to be willing or be aware, be so aware of the ins and outs, the ups and downs, the going around that's going on, that's happening with us.
Mm-hmm.
Listening to those people on the TV, even now, they're like, oh, what is going on? There's that, what's happening? And you give them the answer, and is this real? Yes. It's not the only time it's ever happened. It's not the first time. This when I got back and it was and found out that the Northeast was gone,
Mm-hmm.
in my eyes, what happened? What do you mean gentrification? What does that involve? What do you mean gentrification? Gentrification? What does gentrification mean? Where I just want to go back to where I was.
Mm-hmm.
They said
It's
no,
It's not there.
because this is gentrification.
Mm-hmm.
And so then they keep using it on the news. They're talking about gentrification over there in Europe, where all that stuff is going on over there, and they killing each other. It reminds me of the books that I've read, history books,
Mm-hmm.
where they even before a couple of 100 years ago, 600 years ago, whatever, the kind of things they're doing now is the same thing they was doing then. And the difference between then and now is that then there are those who know. You want to do all that cutting and go ahead and do it. I don't have to accept it. You think I need to live in a big old mansion to be happy and to live? That ain't my issue. I'll drive a big $75,000 car. What good is that gonna do with me?
Talk to the mic.
Oh, you know what? What kind of good is it doing me to have a big old fancy car? You know, when I pulled up and I said that
RV.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's the kind of thing that I want.
Mm-hmm.
That's not no big old fancy something, and it could be used as long as it runs well, works well. I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Someplace where I can lay my head down at night,
Mm-hmm.
and I could park and I could sleep and feel safe. I ain't trying to have no whatever they call them big old long things, but the fact that, okay, how am I with where I am now? I'm still upright and breathing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not starving. I have family, and I don't need to be up in my family's face all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And my family don't need to be up in my face all the time. What are we about? I'm happy with myself. I I think about and have thought about the years that I was away from my family by choice.
Mm-hmm.
When I would think about my family, my heart would just beat so hard. I just love my family so much. I just can't help it.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, what is this? What is it? It's love, darling. It's love. Oh. It is love. It's about love. I love me. I learned how to love me. And I love my family. When to get to that point where you go, I love them like that. I love that one like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I ain't scared to tell nobody. Yeah, I love you. You loved. But to get to that place where you find out what love is, when you can love yourself. I was starting to tell you the story when the doctors told me to look in the mirror. When I started looking in the mirror, I fell in love with myself. I remember that day came because this was the formula. Every day, you go in that mirror and you look at yourself for, I don't know. Oh, yeah. Every day you go look at that mirror and you look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself that you love you. I love you. And I thought, oh boy, it's one of them games, right? But you got to do it. Okay. I love you. 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 Now do it with your eyes open.
Mm-hmm. Make you kind of feel silly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love you. Oh, I don't know. I guess after about 5 days, I looked in the mirror and looked at me in the eyes. And I said, I love you. These big old, sorry, not sorry, but these big old tears came out of my eyes. And it was like the feeling, the sensation that was in me. I do love me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, just that little inkling bit. Oh, there's that feeling that
when you
I
actually
love you.
realized you felt it.
Yes.
Yeah, it wasn't just words.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. And I don't know how many days I cried, but I can go in the mirror now, and I'm thankful and grateful to have come to the place that I had loved myself. I love this person, that person, them people. But to love yourself, oh, baby.
I feel like that's a new place for me too.
Yeah,
we were talking about last week transitions in life, and I feel like
yes,
loving yourself, and then also really learning what unconditional love is. Because I think a lot of us claim that we love each other. We love, we all have this idea of love, but there are so many conditions that we attach to what it means to love somebody else. That we want people to show up the way we want them to show up for us. Otherwise, you don't love me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But that's not unconditional love.
No.
Yeah, you care. You care about people, right? And I think when it comes to that, it's more about what you can get out of somebody else sometimes.
Right.
But letting people be authentic in themselves and show up how they are and accepting them for who they are.
Yeah.
And not discarding them when they're no longer useful to you
or lovable.
Right. Or when you feel like, well, you're not giving me what I want, so I can't love you that way no more. That's not unconditional love.
That's not.
I think too the part to remember in that is, well, because I'm also in that space. We're in a lot of similar spaces of learning to. I feel like I've always cared about myself, my well-being, and this, that, and the other, but really taking the time to love myself. Part of that is when people are like, well, what do you like to do? And when you're like, oh, I don't know, that means you're not taking the time to spend time with yourself. You're not reflecting. You are pouring more into others, right?
Yes.
But with unconditional love, I think the reason why people tend to make it like more transactional is because a lot of times people will take that, oh, well, you're supposed to love me unconditionally, which means I can do whatever I want to do, and you still have to show up for me. And unconditional love means, no, I don't stop my love for you because you are, or my love for you does not depend on whether you are useful or not, but your presence in my life or my presence in yours, that is conditional. That doesn't mean that I'm going to stop loving you, but if you are causing me harm, I can love you, but it's going to have to be from a distance.
That's right. Yeah.
And if we reconnect, we do. And if we don't, then that was that part of the path that we walked together, and our journeys continue on separately.
And I still love you.
And I still love you, but I can't be around you. And I had to learn that, because like I think I said it before, like I'm loyal to a fault, and I've had to learn to be a little bit more selfish. I think in these early 40s, that's one of those things that part of loving myself for real is learning to be a little bit more selfish, because I would do anything for anybody at my own expense. And that's not healthy.
That's not.
And so I had to, a lot of people, like, especially even in the beginning of this year, people just falling off out of my life. Like, it wouldn't even be that deep. And then it's like, it's an issue problem. They're like, well, I'm not fooling with you no more. And I'm like, okay. Right? Like, okay, if that's what you choose to do. Like,
thank you, Lord.
I tell people all the time, I am not in the business of keeping anybody that doesn't want to be kept.
That's right.
That is friends, family, relationships, these kids. I mean, technically, at 18, you can go where you want to go. But until then, I am the responsible person for you.
That's
but
right.
at the end of the day, I'm not going to force anything. I still love you. I wish the best for you. I hope that you're successful in whatever way you want to be successful. But I don't have to suffer through your BS. Especially tell my kids when they want to throw tantrums, I'm like, you're allowed to feel how you want to feel, but the rest of us do not have to suffer through that. Please exit stage left and come back when you get yourself together. Because I will try and help them work through it. But if they just wanted to throw a tantrum, I understand that. The other day, I just wanted to complain. My friend was trying to cheer me up. I said, no, I want to complain in this moment, and that is okay. So yes, throw your tantrum in your room. When you were done, come join the collective. So
I like
that was
your
all
words.
over the place. Thank you. Kind of why I do the whole poetry thing. But I, just learning to love myself unconditionally has opened up that thought process of, I'm going to love you regardless. Once I love you regardless. I mean, there are some things obviously that can cause, that love to stop, but it's not going to be, I needed a ride and you didn't give me a ride. You didn't come to my birthday party, or, I wanted to do this and you weren't there, or I needed money and you didn't give me any. Those are not reasons to stop loving somebody. But a lot of people do. And to me, like you said, you might have cared about me or cared about what I could do for you. But if those are reasons to end our interaction, there was no real love there.
Bye.
But at the end of the day, I do have to choose me first. So it's going to be me over you. And that's unconditional love for everybody, but me putting me first, because me diminishing me to be in community with you is not real unconditional love. That's some other stuff that you need therapy for.
Quite conditional.
Yeah.
It's quite conditional.
It is.
I got to be like this, got to be like that in order. Just made me think of somebody that I communicated with, hadn't been in touch with for a while. And I let them know, a few things that were going on. And they just ran me a list of things that I needed to be doing and not be doing. And I'm thinking they haven't even spoke to me or heard anything about me. And they're gonna tell me what I should be doing because of what happened to them. I'm like, well, no, that's okay. I'll just listen. Maybe they just needed to have somebody listen. Bottom line, this is what you do. Telling me. They haven't even heard my whole story. But they can tell me, you need to do this. I'm like, okay, thank you. And it's like, but that's the way people do. They want to tell you what you're supposed to do. Okay, you can tell me what I'm supposed to do. But I'm not going to tell you that I'm going to do what I know I'm supposed to do. Because
I don't need to argue with you.
Right.
I can just listen to you.
Yeah.
That's been a lesson for sure.
I'm still working on that one.
Yeah. I don't know, listening to myself and giving myself the space for the feelings that I have, and knowing like, I used to be a just do it. I don't really feel like it, but I know this person needs that and I'm not doing nothing else. So why would I say no? Nope. I don't do that no more.
It's a guilty feeling.
Yeah. Well, now if I'm at home chilling and somebody needs something, if I have to ask myself, do I really feel like it? What's more important to me? Like if I'm dog tired, you know what? I'm not about to get up and do that no more. When I used to, right? I used to sacrifice that moment of peace that I was going to maybe have to help somebody else and benefit them in some way. But for what? Like why? I just feel guilty. I feel like I have to. And I no longer feel like I have to do those things.
I see.
There are things that I want to do. Yeah. And if that comes up, yep. I'm always down for a game night. I lightweight think we should have Saturday night game nights with whoever the guest is going to be on the show the next day.
Okay.
So that we can talk.
Have some conversation.
Yeah, have some conversation and come up with a plan for our podcast Sunday with them and kind of discuss the things we might discuss, but also have a good, fun time. I think that might be a plan going forward.
Build some rapport.
We're doing once a month.
Who?
Are we doing podcasts once a month?
Oh, we're going to do a podcast. We're doing it every Sunday. So we're going to have a whole lineup of people that we bring on. But we're trying to still figure out how we want these stories to come about. Because really what I want to share with the people who tune in are lessons, right? Not just the stories on how we live in, but like valuable information that comes from our life, what we've experienced and what we got out of it, and maybe what one might do the next time, or you know what I mean, like just lessons that we don't hear a lot about.
Yeah.
Also sharing our stories, our families, just the things that we don't hear anymore.
Right.
Is the goal.
The things we don't hear, and that unconditional love. I'm sorry, a picture just came in my mind. Football. Excuse me.
Okay, Auntie over here daydreaming about football. So we know where she at. She done told us what football means to her.
Right. Do you want to do the wrap up with the gym? You want to start with your gym or?
Yeah, I think my gym for the day, my takeaway is that, well, I can't take that. Auntie had the love in herself. Who started that? Loving yourself?
I don't know. Oh, Auntie did.
Auntie did. Okay, my gym for the day is giving yourself the space to really know how you feel and not feel guilty for the choices that you make. Do what makes you happy. And if people have a problem with that, then you maybe need to reevaluate who they are to you. Or why they have a problem with you choosing yourself first.
And that's their problem.
That's theirs. It's not your problem.
Well, my gym, I just want to reiterate the whole, since we were on that and like Auntie was talking about, she hasn't gotten an answer back from her doctor, is it's okay to keep asking your doctor questions. It's okay to get a new doctor. If they don't want to do something, ask them to document it. Because once it's documented, if something goes wrong, they're responsible for that. And usually once you say that, they're going to change their stance on things. It's okay to advocate for yourself. That's something that I work with a lot of my participants at work. Like there was one who said like she didn't have any food for like 3 days. And I was like, I wish you would have told me. And then I was like, well, let me rephrase that. And I said, I wish I would have known that. And she said, well, I didn't know what I could ask for. And I didn't want to bother you. And I said, well, first of all, you're not bothering me. You're advocating for yourself. And anybody in this field that feels like you advocating for yourself is bothering them should not be in this field. Mm-hmm. And all you can do is ask. I can say yes or I can say no. Or I can say maybe I can't do that, but I can do this to free something up for you to do that. It's the same thing when it comes to your life, because your doctor really holds your life in their hands if you're giving it to them, right? Mm-hmm. Advocate for yourself. If it's not right, if you don't like their answers, if you got to get a 5th opinion, 6th opinion, then do that, because you know your body. Even if you can't say, this is the diagnosis going on with me, you know something's not right.
Yeah.
Or they're trying to get you to take a medication that's not healthy for African American people.
Mm-hmm.
because they do that with that. There's this blood pressure medication that's not good for us that they try and force on so many of us. If you don't want to take it, tell them you don't want to take it. There's another option. You do not have to do what they say. You do not have to settle for the answers that they give.
Mm-hmm.
Advocate for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Ask for somebody else if they're not listening.
Yeah.
I had to learn that was okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of sort of like what I'm advocating for. I'm advocating for myself. All these different medicines they give me, and then they want to tell me that the medicines that I choose to take myself, OTC, it doesn't hurt me. It doesn't make me uncomfortable. I can touch this without feeling a lot of pain and so forth and so on. I can do this and that. And for these folks to come in and say, okay, so what you taking? You taking so, oh no, you don't want to take. And I'm just sitting there watching them. I done had doctors, big doctors, do this same old, excuse my language, shit to me. Tell me what I can and can't take and what I should and shouldn't take. Do you know what I'm going through? Have you asked me a question about my pain? Do you know what? They don't even want to give me a chance because I'm articulate. I can speak for myself. And they have written this down. First time I saw it, I said, what? Miss Lomax can speak, can articulate her feelings, can express how she feels very, whatever that word they used.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, this here way they have, and I'm not being bigoted, this way they have of talking and describing me.
What's your gym, Auntie?
My gym is I'm so happy to see these two young ladies that are sitting here in the same room with me. Not be as dumb as I was at their age. To recognize what's going on and to act on it. I don't mean running around, although you feel like, I don't remember running around with a stick and conking everybody on the head, but being aware of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Me and that little girl, you know who I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. You're talking about my youngest. She be giving her a run for her money.
Oh. She be pushing that button, and I'm trying to just chill. But I think she's starting to understand where I'm coming from.
And I think you're starting to understand where she's coming from.
Oh, I know where she's coming from. She was born in December.
Mm-hmm.
Very intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Unknowingly intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
And so my thing to her is, I don't care how smart you think you are. I know you. And I'm not gonna let you, that's her like. And then I say, she'll take me right to the edge where I have to say, hey, I got nothing to say to you.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And you ain't got nothing to say to me if you can't be respectful. She don't want to be respectful to me. You don't want to be respectful. Don't say nothing to me. Straight up, that's where it's at. Maybe 2 days will go by. We don't say nothing to each other. And then all of a sudden I hear this. She be calling Auntie.
Auntie.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
She put that T on the end of it. Oh. She put that T on the end of it.
Oh, we gonna watch this thing and crack the heck up.
And she We trying. And I did stop her one day. I said, you know what? I don't like how we getting along or not getting along. I just do not like it. And so I'm going to stop speaking as much as I can to you. I mean, I just straight up tell her, you a little girl and I'm a older woman and you being very disrespectful. I get on her about her mama and dad. I don't like the way you talk to your mama. I don't like the way you talk to your daddy. You be more respectful.
You know what you have to do with her? You have to tell her specifically what she's doing wrong. Because a lot of people assume that she knows better. And she may have heard the lesson 100 times. Mm-hmm. But that's not how her brain works.
No,
it
doesn't.
Her brain doesn't work that way.
No.
She doesn't hear something and that registers as
whatever
this is what
she
I should
did
do
here.
From here on out. Mm-hmm. She works the way she works, right? But you have to continue to bring it back to her and let her know what she's doing right now in real time.
In the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is what's not okay. This is what is okay.
See it in her face.
And you're going to give her that lesson 100 times and it's frustrating.
Yes.
Oh, it's testing.
Oh, I know.
But you have to keep on having that conversation with her because it's just how her brain works.
Yeah, and it's not just a lesson for her.
Mm-mm. Yeah, it's a lesson for all of us. Trust me, I know. Every day.
Not just with her, with all these kids.
Mm-hmm. So that's the gym.
Mm-hmm. That's the gym.
You got as much to teach her as she got to teach you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
we about to close this down.
Right. See, because I'm teaching.
No, we not.
Okay. Just
we going on 2 hours almost.
It's supposed to be an hour.
Oh, that's the time. Okay, so
we closing. Well, what we gonna leave these fine folks with today, Aunty?
This is better than what I thought. Better than what I felt. I was trying to be scared, but I couldn't find any room to put the scare in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I just love this, and doing this more often is I think is doing this more often.
I think you were actually speaking into the mic. Yeah, you didn't have
I was.
Oh,
my brain was gone. But what I get out of this is I need a gas X. Because it was like, oh, okay. Yeah. I think this is good and that we could do it more often. And I wonder, my question is, what kind of topics do we want to influence folks with?
I think one of the things I would love for people to share mostly is their most important life lesson. Most important life lesson, where it came from, what it has been, what's something that you live by, right? That maybe you could have used that lesson a long time ago, but it took you a long time to get there or realize it. For me, that was the thing that I was saying last week is the biggest lesson that just resonates with me right now is being able to speak your truth and allow yourself to feel your emotions and work through that and the power in that instead of what we think is more important of hurry up and move past something so we can continue to be productive.
Right, because you got to work. You got to do
the stopping,
you got to do school.
And acknowledging those emotions, no matter how uncomfortable they are, how important that is in life, And so for me, I think when I think about a life lesson, that's just the biggest one that sticks in my head every day right now. Right. So thinking about life lessons, I think that's really a valuable thing that we could all share. And we hope every guest is going to have a different, we have a lot of life lessons, I'm sure, a million of them. Right. But pick one that you would give to a younger person or maybe an up and coming parent or thinking about your career choice or whatever you choose, to speak on. Just a lesson that could have been helpful.
Thing that comes to my mind right now is being an elder. How do I get a job and make me some money? They want me to get on Medicaid and da-da-da-da-da and all the hoops they want you to go through to Medicaid and stuff. And I'm just like, what I want to be able to do is to function as though I'm a billionaire.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we all want that.
You're right. Excuse me.
Some of us act like that.
I'm gonna stop.
back.
I'm gonna stop wanting to function as a millionaire or a billionaire. I am functioning as a billionaire.
What have you doing?
I hear it. Is that you way over here?
Right,
So we're
the
gonna wrap
microphone
it up
pick it
because
up.
it's the morning and we need to go eat.
Oh my goodness.
So
I closed it last time.
what did we say? I know. Then we just were like, "This has been Talk to Us."
I know.
Talk to them.
This
Not
is
Talk to Us.
Well, thank you
been
for
Talk to them.
joining us today, Auntie,
Yes.
on Talk to Them. We look
We
forward to
appreciate
having you back for sure. We're going to have you back on the show. We're going to have more of a plan next time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're going to have a
Yeah.
plan on what we're going to talk about. So we can share.
So we can keep it in sections and work with the lessons and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And
So the editing, you do the editing of the.
Well, we're not
we
gonna
don't do
edit
the
it.
editing.
It's going to play. We're going to watch it.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're going to
If there's
close it
anything
and
that
we'll
needs
talk
to
about
be, yeah, Philip will do that.
it. So thank you
Yeah,
all
well, that's what I
for
was
checking
wondering
in with
if you-
us on Talk to Them. I am Kennitha Wade.
I am Renauda Mitchell.
I am Omiseun Lomax.
And
We'll
thank
see
you for
next
checking in.
time.